I just talked to your players and mentioned that this is a perfect prescription for what ailed them the other night. And then, Jeff, I go back to what you said the other night. You can't shoot like that anywhere, especially at home and win. And you brought up three-pointers, and you brought up free throws the other night. And now I'm looking here, 10 for 22 from three-point line, 16 for 19 from the free throw line. You shoot 51.9%. It's a lot different than the other night, and, of course, the result shows it.
Yeah, it's ultimately boiled down to it's a make or miss game, and I thought our guys understood the game plan. We knew how we could get open shots. Just a matter of when we got open shots, were we going to be able to knock them down? And proud of Jonah. He's had a tough stretch here in conference play. He's too good of a shooter. A guy that shot 42% from the three the last his freshman and sophomore year, and even leading up into conference play, he'd been a 42% three guy. And so that's kind of the dilemma that Coach Peary and his probably coaching staff and teams playing against us right now is, he's shooting 19%, but he can shoot it. And do you play him as a guy that can't shoot, or do you play him a guy that can? And he really stepped up tonight and made some big shots. And as I told him before, after shoot around, I was like, listen, if you turn down a shot, you're coming out of the game. Because I knew in Montana State he started kind of getting hesitating, second guessing. And I was like, listen, I'm taking all the doubt out. If you don't shoot it, you're coming out, which for him, he doesn't come out very often. So proud of him and proud of our guys for a great response after a tough game on Monday.
And you just answered some of my questions, and this leads to a story that I'm doing for Saturday morning in different starting lineups. Will that continue? Jeff, are you the kind of guy that likes to get in the habit of the same starting five?
Yeah, we've been, for the most part, we've had, other than maybe a couple instances, we've had pretty much the same starting lineup. I thought that, and I like being consistent with the starting lineup, but with a young team like what we have, sometimes the matchups of the other team dictates who we're going to start. And, in the case of tonight is, as I met with Bodie after the game on Montana State, the next day, we watched film and we sat down and talked, and I told him that it wasn't going to be from him not making shots or turning the ball over the reason why he wasn't going to start. I just felt like his effort on the defensive end, his effort in terms of making winning plays, wasn't good enough. I thought he was playing on his heels, and not to shock him or anything, and just felt like it might help him maybe coming off the bench. And he came up with some big shots tonight and played with more urgency. And played with more pace. Because the one thing about him is he is still a freshman. He's a young freshman. His body, is still adjusting to this level. He's playing against men, and he's going to have moments where his body maybe, or that energy lets him down. But at some point here, which won't probably be until the summertime, when his body gets that another 5 or 10 pounds, then you're going to see a guy that's going to be a really, really special player.
I asked both of them, and I knew what the answer they were going to give, which was fine. Because I don't expect them to say somebody over another. But those two have played together more than anybody else on your team. 3 years.
And those two would be Jonah and JD.
Yes. And the question was, too, and Jonah kept shaking his head, he knows what Jordan's next step is. He knows what his next move is. Even if a play's breaking down, he knows, and vice versa. And that's part of that. The same lineup, same line. When you put the five out there that you want, do you have a vision in your head too? I know that so and so is going to do this or spin that way or go this way because of the continuity and the familiarity that they have with each other.
Yeah, just as a coaching staff, trying to put each person or each player in a position to be successful, and for each player, that might be something a little bit different. And kind of what we do offensively at times. It's putting guys in the right place to play to their strengths. And then from there, guys understanding what guys can and can't do. And sometimes the biggest thing is understanding what you can't do. Because when you start doing things you can't do, that's when the turnovers go up, which I thought we did a great job at night,
awesome.
Except for in that little stretch.
Well, you had only 3 at half, I think, no?
Yeah, we had 4 at half. I think 4 at half. But, we had that stretch where we probably had about 3 or 4 right in a row in the second half when they kind of made that run. But I thought we did a really good job of taking care of the ball. But no, when a guy like Jonah and JD, who've played, a lot of minutes, probably 90% of the minutes played over the last 3 years, those guys have been on the floor together. And so they really understand how to play off one another. They play one-on-one pretty much every day after practice against one another. So they really know how to play off each other. And then now those younger guys are starting to learn how to play off those guys as well.
I don't have anything else unless